Secretary, do you have any top lines from Mr. Witkoff? This was a late meeting. It went hours long. Is there anything that he shared? And then when you do examine the Russian position, that the comments by President Putin were quite convoluted and tough to decipher. I wonder if you think that he's playing for time.
Well, I think you're not going to, this is not something that's going to play out in press conferences. As I stand at a press conference. But this is, these, again, I go back to the point I just made. When you want, if you think about the most recent example of ceasefire negotiations, which was what happened in Gaza and with Israel and so forth, yeah, there were newspaper and there were articles and there was news stories about it, but ultimately you found out what the results were after the fact. And in the meantime, you saw public statements from different sides in regards to what they were going to do. I think this will be no different. So certainly, we're not going to make our foreign policy decisions on the basis of what a leader simply says at a press conference or somebody puts up on a social media post because you're some blogger close to the Kremlin or something like that. And likewise, I don't think they're going to do that either. So I would just say that this is going to play out the way things of this nature and caliber have traditionally and normally play out, and that is with the leaders of the countries involved speaking, not in front of the cameras, not in front of the media, but in these negotiations that happen and in these talks that happen. So I'm not going to comment on what President Putin said, other than he said he agreed with it in concept. So,
with lots of reservations.
Well, again, he said that at a press conference. As I said, and I go back to the phrase I used earlier, I think there is reason for cautious optimism that something good could come of this. Obviously, we're going to wait for Ambassador Witkoff to return. He's not back yet. We're going to reconvene. Obviously, I spoke to him late last night. He spoke to the president well before that. He may have spoken to other members of our team. I've been here. But ultimately, we're going to reconvene, and the president will have options available to him, and decisions will be made after that. But I don't want to speculate or characterize anything beyond what I've just said until we have had a chance to sit down with Ambassador Witkoff, who's still overseas and in travel.
Mr. Secretary.